If you don't wear brown and orange, you don't matter.
Let this be a reminder to you all that this organization will not tolerate failure.
Well, buddy boy, I want you to get excited here.
With the first pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Baker Mayfield.
Okay, listen up, people. I'm going to turn you clowns into a football team.
To the best fans, the most patient fans in the league, the Browns are going to win.
When I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
All right, boys and girls, here we go. We've been looking forward to this for a very long time. I've been talking about this for a very long time. The Barking Lot is finally back. It's our first show, our inaugural show, on what is now the second iteration of The Barking Lot here. We're doing all kinds of crazy stuff here. Obviously, we've already incorporated cameras. We got some new toys. We got an open here. There are some other people on board. This is something that has been in the works for a long time. And this first show, I'm just going to let everybody know right now, is going to be terrible, because that's how it always works out when you first get started. So we're going to learn a whole lot as we go through this. But I'm excited to be here. I'm excited that it's finally going again. For any of you who were around the last time when we did this show, it was strictly in podcast form. We had a lot of fun with it, though. It was great to get out there and obviously talk about the Cleveland Browns, and have a good time with the show. I'm looking forward to doing this again. We're going to be doing it all year long after every game. I know today's Tuesday. It's probably better I took an extra day off, because obviously I'm incredibly emotional about the whole debacle. We'll get into it here in a second. But for right now, this show's coming out on my Facebook page. Eventually, we're going to put it on the Barking Lot page as well. We're going to get it out on Twitter. We're going to have it on YouTube. We're getting all that stuff together. We're getting a website together as well, allegedly. We'll see if that's going to be coming together. Right now, though, you can also catch us on BrownsFootballTalk.com. We're going to get the show up there. There's a message board. You can leave all kinds of comments. You can do all kinds of stuff. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, here we are, the Barking Lot version 2.0. Before I get into the Brown stuff here, I would like to introduce somebody who is going to be the executive producer, vice president of operations, and whatever title you want to give him. Before I let him click over and show himself, though, I have to warn everybody. He's from Wisconsin. He is not a diehard Browns fan. They're hard to find down here. He's a Packers fan, which I'm all right with, because he's not a Steelers fan. He's not in the AFC North. He loves football. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kevin Pasternak. Oh, Packers owner. I apologize greatly, sir. A Packers owner. Now, what kind of dividends do you get? Have you been rolling in the dough since you became a Packers owner?
I have been the dividends you get special owners only merchandise that you still have to pay for.
Okay, so nothing. You've gotten absolutely nothing.
A nice stock certificate.
All right, that's cool. That works.
Says right on it, no cash value.
All right. Do you have any say on team personnel matters or anything like that?
In fact, it's one of the funniest things about the whole Packers ownership thing is when they offer the stock, which they only do basically when they need more money to renovate Lambeau Field.
Yes.
You can buy a share of stock, and it comes with it a packet of material as if you were buying a real NFL team. Like, it said, don't try to influence high schoolers or college players' decisions towards teams or free agents.
So you have a lot of rules. Are you even allowed to do this show right now?
Probably not.
All right, we'll have to talk with the league about that. More than likely, we're going to be in trouble with the league in more than one way because we're probably going to be doing some things that we're not allowed to do specifically, maybe playing some videos that may or may not be questionable from a legality and copyright standpoint of view.
I'm not okaying any of that. The technical side of this has not yet been determined.
I'm going to do it anyway, though, because that's the type of risk taker that I am. We'll see. We've got a lot of things planned for future events, future broadcasts. As many of you know, when we did the last show, drinking beer was a big thing. So we're going to keep that tradition going right now. Absolutely. Unfortunately, because we're celebrating a loss, and a shitty one at that, I'm going to drink shitty beer. Because just some simple Miller Lite here.
That's what you always drink.
I know, but that's if you want a cheap drunk. You know what I mean? That's what I'm going for right now. I don't have anything to be excited about. I'm not going to break out the good beer right now. It's not necessary. Let's get into it. Oh my God, what a familiar feeling that is for all of Browns fans everywhere, huh? 119-1 in the last 21 freaking years. I don't know what happened. I can't put it into words. The absolute wet blanket of suck that was put on us. There was so much hype in the off season, and everybody was looking forward to it so much. You had to expect this. You had to see this Charlie Brown and Lucy moment actually coming to fruition. We were all hyped. We knew we were going to dominate. We go on the first series. It's boom, boom, boom. First down, touchdown. We went in there like the Blitzkrieg went into Poland, and everybody was excited. And then the Factory of Sadness really kicked into gear and pumped out a fantastic product once again. I really don't know where to start except for the most obvious and glaring. It's the penalties. The penalties derailed the entire game, ruined the mojo of the game. I mean, we had 18 penalties, the most since 1951 for I don't even know how many yards, I'm going to be honest. It was 187, something absolutely ridiculous. It looked undisciplined, and here's the thing. I'll say this about the penalties. There were some of them that were questionable. I know, as with any team's fans, that calls BS and that shouldn't have happened and blah, 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 blah. There were some of those that I felt, especially when it comes to the pass interference, the lack of pass interference calls. Kevin, you're not even a Browns fan, but you're a Packers fan, you're a football fan. A lot of these calls, they're just terrible calls.
Some of them were terrible calls. Some of them were early season officials trying to enforce new rules. It was not great. And the Browns were bad. It was 18 for 182, by the way.
182. I was close.
The Titans certainly had their fair share, too. I think it was still a little lopsided.
Oh, for sure. I think it's a frustration, though, that all football fans are going to have to deal with. We've dealt with it in the last few years with the questionable pass interference calls, with the the defensive holding penalties. We had a couple of them that were huge on third down, kept the chains moving for the Titans. I think that we're at a point where we can't complain about it. The teams can't complain about it. The players can't complain about it. We know that this is going to happen. We know that it's part of the game. It's something that is going to continually be there. And as you mentioned, now we have this new caveat that's coming out where you can challenge some of these plays. You can't challenge some of them. So I do think that there was a feeling out period, between both teams, between the coaches, between the officials. Everybody's trying to figure out how to call it. However, there were so many other penalties that were beyond that you can't say were questionable. Myles Garrett is throwing punches. Greg Robinson is kicking people in the head. I'm looking to see a disciplined team, and we've got everybody out there kung fu fighting. I don't know how Myles Garrett didn't get ejected. In my opinion, he should have been. I think that the only thing that saved him was that it was an open hand, which I have to go down this rabbit hole for a second. Why do football players insist on hitting each other or throwing punches to other grown men who are literally wearing armor? What are you going to accomplish by throwing a punch at a man who's wearing a helmet? Absolutely nothing. It's a ridiculous penalty. Look, both of them said after the game, hey, it's emotional. Are these two guys the first two guys in the history of sports that have ever lost their cool or got wrapped up in the moment? No. Do I think that they're bad guys? No, they're not dirty players. Neither of them have history of doing this sort of thing. But in this game, it showed me that this team was way overhyped. They were way overamped. They were too much. And I don't know if you can put all of that on Freddie Kitchens right now. Obviously, that's where it's going to go because he's the head coach. When you have a team that commits 18 penalties for, would you say, 182 yards, you have to look at the coach. You have to hold him accountable for it because these penalties they were ridiculous. And they were incredibly detrimental to the team, to what we were doing. They derailed drives for us. They extended drives for the Titans, and it just made a mockery of the entire day. And by the time the fourth quarter rolled around, the defense is tired. Everybody's just completely thrown off kilter by everything that happened, and frustration just started, setting in. There was a questionable sack on Baker. I didn't think that they should have called it a sack, but you could see he was frustrated, and then he kind of went into that, pardon me for channeling this, he went into that Favre mode, and he just started chucking the ball like a wild man, very undisciplined. It's undisciplined for him in general, for himself, and undisciplined in general. And that's going to lead to bad things happening. And it did. He throws 3 interceptions, a pick 6. Things just blew up. And I don't think anybody was expecting this for the Browns. Certainly the fans weren't expecting it. So it leaves a bad taste in everybody's mouth right now. For me, watching that game, it was like standing in line at the gas station directly behind somebody just buying a handful of lottery tickets. It was awful. It was a terrible experience. I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to see it. I started getting hammered by, the third quarter. All right. I was a little excited and amped up too. He's not wrong. I was drinking. Everybody was drinking. But it left a sour taste in our mouth. And now I want to see how this team not only reacts to it, but more than anything, just like with the penalties, how is Freddie Kitchens going to react to this? He was one of the biggest questions that I had before this season started. He's a rookie head coach, number one, but he's a head coach that only had 7 or 8 games as an offensive coordinator last year. He was the biggest question mark for me going into this season, and now we have this huge plate of adversity that everybody's got to eat, and all of these expectations came crashing down. How does he manage these egos? And let's be clear on this. This team, as hyped as they are, is full of egos. And they are big egos. We have Odell Beckham Jr. We have Baker Mayfield. These guys are not quiet, simple dudes. These guys are out there. They've put it out there that they are who they are. They're not changing. They're alpha males. And when it's going great, they're the guys that are celebrating. But when it goes bad, we've already seen OBJ get into hand-to-hand combat with a kicking net. We've seen his temper come out. We haven't seen Baker when something bad has happened yet. I'm waiting to see if it does. But more than anything, how is Freddie Kitchens going to deal with this situation? How is he going to talk to these players, manage these massive egos, and manage coming off a loss where you got pantsed? What is it that he can do to pull this team together and say, hey, you know what? It happened. Let's get over it. Let's move on. I don't know how you do that, but you kind of have to. For me, I'm kind of glad that it happened. I know it sounds sacrilegious. Oh, it's not that I was rooting for him to lose. Trust me, I wasn't. I wanted it. I wanted it. I put it out here on Facebook immediately. I'm like, oh, we're taking over the world. And everybody was like, calm down, Weinmiller, you idiot. And they were all right. Every single one of them. They were right for saying it. But I wanted it. I'm glad that this kind of happened, because it really kind of let everybody know, hey, settle down. Don't get too far ahead of yourselves. You ain't nobody, money. You ain't nobody yet. We haven't done anything in this league, and that's true. And I think it's better to be humbled immediately and get that out of the way than maybe build up false confidence, false hope. Start the season 3-1, 4-0, and you're really starting to get too into yourself. You're believing way too much of your own hype. You're reading your own press clippings, and that arrogance starts to come out, because that's what can kill a lot of teams. So we're at a really weird spot right now. This is something that could absolutely break us, or this is something that could really, really turn this into a great season for us. The key is going to be how Freddie Kitchens deals with it, how he deals with the players, how he deals with the locker room. And that's something that I'm looking forward to more than anything, how Freddie Kitchens responds to it. A lot of the players I'm not worried about. I believe in what Baker has to say. I think that he's a pretty even-keeled guy, and he says that he knows what kind of men are in this locker room. I believe him when he says that, and I think that he's a natural leader. He's got that charisma. He's got the ability to say, hey, you know what? I just threw 3 picks. We had a terrible game. Who cares? That shit's over with. Move on to the next game. Let's go. I think that that's what we need. We have to have somebody who's got that leadership quality. Kevin is a person who has a Hall of Fame quarterback on his team. You know what it's like to have that from that position. You need that.
You do. And I think what you said about Baker and his Favre moment, I think, is going to be one of the really telling points going forward. Being here in the Carolinas, we all saw Jake Bentley versus North Carolina, which, though a college game, I think had many similarities, where you get a quarterback who gets into that mindset of, I have to do it all myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was that Favre mindset.
It was.
I have to do everything. Then you start forcing throws, and that's how you end up with a guy who's got more interceptions than anybody else.
Right. Well, and that's absolutely correct. And especially when you have the playmakers that we have on this team too. I've got OBJ out there. I have Jarvis Landry. I've got David Njoku, who was making plays. He's got weapons everywhere. He's like, I can do this. Not only can I do this, I have to do this. I've got to get this to these guys, and that always spells disaster. I mean, it has for any quarterback who's ever done this to try to make something happen when it's not there, when you're forcing it, and it never works out well. And I think that, again, it just goes back to, being disheveled and being in a position that, honestly, nobody on this team ever thought about. They didn't think that they would.
Ask you this, though. How much of that is on Baker, and how much of it is on the plays being called?
Well, and I was going to bring that up. Here's the thing. There's a lot of people that are, there's a particular member of our fan club. His name is Soup. He has a real name, but I'm just going to address him as Soup, and you know who you are, sir. He's already calling for Freddie Kitchens' head in saying that he should relinquish play calling duties. I think that that's crazy for a number of reasons. First and foremost, I don't think that we can measure Freddie Kitchens' play calling from this game at all, because it was completely covered by penalties. Every single drive we're starting 1st and 20, 1st and 15. There's a holding penalty. There's this or that. We're always in the hole. We were never. The only time we had positive plays was that first drive. That first drive was great. Everything worked out. We moved methodically down the field. First down, first down, first down, first down.
You never even faced a third down on that first.
No, I mean, it was crazy, and so aside from that, though, that's when the wheels fell off. So I don't think that we even had anywhere near a good read on the play calling, Freddie Kitchens calling the plays. I know this. Last year, the Browns were clearly a tale of two teams. And we came alive when Freddie Kitchens was calling the plays. I think that he has an amazing rapport with Baker Mayfield. I think that they have a great relationship. They understand each other, and it's not a situation like a lot of other teams where the quarterback is fighting with the offensive coordinators. He's fighting with the coach or any of that. They clearly get along well. No, I'm not talking. It's actually the one thing that comes to my mind is Ben Roethlisberger, because he's always fighting, with his offensive coordinators. Him and Todd Haley had a hellacious relationship for a reason. But when you have a good relationship, I'm trusting that everything's going to be okay. I don't think that Freddie Kitchens is all of a sudden just going to be terrible at play calling. Just overnight, Now, again, I have trepidation overall because he only did it for half a season last year. So even that is still new to him. And now on top of it, he has the added pressure of being a head coach. That was a big concern for me. The second main concern that I had going into this year, and it reared its ugly head, was probably our weakest spot, our offensive line. We clearly are still struggling to replace Joe Thomas, as any team would be when you get rid of a player of his caliber. Arguably the greatest offensive lineman of all time, 10,000 consecutive snaps, 87 Pro Bowls in a row. I mean, that's crazy to think about. The league's 100 years old. Joe Thomas went to 87 Pro Bowls. Figure that one out. Figure that one out, Kevin. It's mathematically not even possible, but he did it. That's how good of a player Joe Thomas was. But exactly, that's it. And we're going to struggle on. And we traded another Pro Bowler to the Giants to get OBJ and Kevin Zeitler, so the line's depleted even more. Wow, was it bad? I mean, Baker was running for his life. He was sacked 5 times. He was hit 7 more times. He was almost injured. We're incredibly lucky that he wasn't. You saw around the league, Nick Foles, big offseason acquisition for the Jaguars, throws like 2 passes, throws a touchdown, gets hit, broken collarbone. He's gone until at least week 11. So their season's done. You can't you can't lose your starting quarterback in this league. We saw it with Houston. Houston, even though they just barely lost, not yesterday, but the day before. No, actually, it was yesterday. It was the Monday night game. Yeah, I don't even know what day it is. They just lost, but they've been thought of as an elite team. Deshaun Watson gets hurt. Done. They're done for. The Colts, they're ravaged. Now, he retired, Andrew Luck, but he retired due to injury. You lose your starting quarterback, just as well when Aaron Rodgers gets hurt. Anybody, we can't afford to lose Baker Mayfield. He goes down. I may as well go play quarterback because I don't even know who our backup is. Don't know his name. I probably should, but I don't. I'm a passive fan. I don't pay attention. I drink heavily too. What do you want from me? I don't know his name. But no, it's something Drew Stanton. It's Drew Stanton, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Drew Stanton. See, I'm not as bad as I make myself out to be. But we need to protect him. And you can't be getting sacked 5 times in a game. You can't be getting hit 7 times. That's 12 times he's hit. It's 12 times he's hurt. They need to get that shored up. And as soon as Greg Robinson, decided to start kicking people in the face, he's out. The next play, the next couple of plays, the next few series after that, his replacement comes in. He gets hurt. That leads to a safety. And things just went to shit fast. It went down the tubes. The offensive line, Freddie Kitchens were my 2 biggest concerns, and I think that those possibly were the 2 biggest things that doomed us and sent us down the path to what we're all accustomed to seeing, which is a loss on opening day.
So to your point about penalties, Cleveland.com broke down all 18 penalties. I will save you the in-depth bit. Their conclusion: 10 of the penalties were bad technique. 8 of the penalties were lack of discipline.
Ugh.
Both of those, to me, that's coaching.
It is. I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all. Now, again, I know that there's going to be some people watching this going, "Oh, but that call on so-and-so is..." Listen. I watch the games just the same as you guys do. I get excited, especially in the heat of the moment. And there were, again, some questionable calls. The one pass interference, man, it's bang bang. He got there. It looked almost exactly the same time as the ball. They called him for the defensive holding. Look, you have to deal with this. And teams, I think, need to plan and adjust for it. You need to be a good enough team that when that happens, you still get them out off the field on the next series. 3 and out. Collect. It's over. It happened. It's done with. Every team is dealing with this in the NFL. Don't get me wrong. I don't like it. I think that it's crap. I think that the NFL needs to be decisive in what the calls need to be. I don't know how to do that either. I don't really have I don't know how to come up with that solution. To me, one of the reasons that this is happening is because as the game has progressed, we're in the 100th season in the NFL. These guys are so big. They are so fast.
Yep.
We are now literally pushing the limits of human ability. And it's happening faster than it's ever happened. The hits are coming more vicious than it's ever been hit. And I don't know what more you can do about it. I don't know how to differentiate this. We're literally getting into superhero territory almost. What is it? Let me hear it.
Here's my solution. So, for plays that are reviewed, if it's a was he out of bounds type play, did they step on the line, whatever, you can slow that play down frame by frame.
Sure.
Officials, if you want to. If it's was it a catch? Was it pass interference? Was it holding? Whatever. Any of those reviewed plays, only show it to the officials in real time. They should only get to see it in real time. Because when they look at that play at, 10 frames a second, yeah, it looks like he got there an hour early. But when you look at that play in real time, they're there at the same time.
I like it. I see what you're saying with it. The problem with it, though, is that we get to see it at that 10 frames.
Yeah.
It's slowed down for us.
But we don't get to make the call.
That's very true. But all of us at home, our Monday morning quarterbacks and all of that, we're making the calls in our living room. All of us, we're screaming for it. And that's what's going to be played on SportsCenter. That's what's going to be played on NFL Network. That's what all the announcers and that's what, all the people, Skip Bayless and other idiots that talk and ramble on endlessly about this. Colin Cowherd calling you. I know that he had a field day with this. We'll deal with him later. Trust me, I'll be tackling Colin Cowherd all on my own at a later time. I'll get his attention.
Physically?
Well, not physically, of course, unless he, invites me on his show, and then sure, why not? Why wouldn't I attack him? It's just tough all the way around. The point is, those calls are just where you have to live with them. It's all of those other calls, the undisciplined calls, the poor technique calls. You can't have it. And it is going to come down to coaching. And I have no choice now. We have to believe in Freddie Kitchens. He's our guy. He's the one who has come in and set this tone and set this culture for this team. So we're here. There's this, and it's only week 1. This is not the time to boo-hoo-hoo. It's easy for us as Cleveland fans to do that because we're so used to this. This is how it happens for us. There's this hype, there's excitement, the season started, and then, the end of September, we're all just raging alcoholics and we're beating our dogs and it's awful. And I don't think that there's any reason for...
condone beating dogs.
No, ever. I mean, the strays, though, you can kick the stray dogs, right? Can you, maybe just a BB gun, shoot him or something like that. I am kidding. I'm not. I have a dog. My Macaroo, man. Come on, my Mac. Condoning animal violence. What's wrong with you, Kevin? No, but we are. We're used to it, and I don't think that there's any reason for that right now. I just don't see it. I don't think that there's any reason to panic. I think that we're going to rebound, which leads me to this, Kevin. The prediction time for next week. But before we get to that, I do have to give a little shout out. I don't know how well you guys can see my shirt, but this is my... Oh, well, you know what? We're learning. We're learning things. We have bad lighting, folks. You know what? We're gonna work on this. We're figuring it out as we go. Figure it out, all right? But this is my Baker Mayfield shirt. This is from Brian Zabo at Zabo Apparel. A shout out to him. Awesome, amazing gear. Give him a shout out. Give him a check. SZABOapparel.com. He's based in Northeast Ohio, in Vermilion specifically. Go into his shop. Go to his website. All kinds of great gear. Great shirts. All American-made stuff. Military guy. I can't sing his praises anymore. He's amazing. We're going to get him as a sponsor. I don't know if that's true. I'm just making blind statements right now, but we're going to try to. Go buy his stuff. Go check it out. You're gonna love it. It is a great shirt. He's got. I mean, I ordered one, and he was kind enough to include a collection for me. So every time I do this show, I will be wearing apparel from Zabo Apparel. I will definitely be wearing it. So please go buy his shirts, buy his hats, buy whatever. I don't even know if he's selling pants or shoes. Buy all that stuff too. Make the man rich. He deserves it. He's a great guy, and he's a friend of the show. At least he's going to be now. So now, prediction time. Prediction time, sponsored by Zabo Apparel, is next week. Monday Night Football against the Jets. Jets, Jets. They suck.
Most annoying fan base in the world.
Well, they're from New York.
New Jersey.
Whatever. Doesn't matter. They're terrible. And so are the Jets. Their fans are terrible. The Jets are terrible. Didn't they just lose to the Bills? They lost to the Bills.
Correct.
Which is abysmal. I mean, I don't even know what you say to that. Listen, we got all this started last year by beating the Jets. That's who got us off the schneid. That's what ended that horrific losing streak when the Browns were 0 for freaking 90 or whatever it was. We ended it against the Jets. That's where Baker Mayfield just electrified Cleveland and brought us back from the brink. I'm looking for us to do that again. I see it happening again. We're coming into a primetime game, national television. This is it. It's Monday Night Football. I think that we rebound from this. I think that we come back strong. I think that we shake a lot of things off. Greg Robinson's probably not going to kick anybody in the face, so he's not going to get ejected. Hopefully. Hopefully we can keep the line together. And again, Freddie comes back and he energizes this team and he says, listen, go pout about it. Do whatever you need to do and then get it out of your mind. Start over fresh. Wednesday practice, Tuesday, starting tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's it. We have a good week of practice. Forget about this game. Go do what we can do.
So, counterpoint. The Bills, though they lost, or the Jets, though they lost by 1 to the Bills.
They did.
Very similar offense in that it's not a big play machine. These are, they chip away. Darnold was 28 of 41 for $175. These aren't light him up numbers.
Not at all.
Kyle had 17 carries for 60 yards. They chip away at you. And I would say, the Titans did a very similar thing, and you still couldn't stop them.
No. Again, the wheels fell off.
They did.
I'm not looking for that to happen again.
Okay.
I'm looking for... The Browns were very good against the run for the majority of that game. They shut Derrick Henry down. They were stout up front.
Not if you look at my fantasy stats.
Oh, you had to sneak that into the show, didn't you? You had to sneak. All right, that's fine. Listen, why don't you just tell everybody that my team finished with the least amount of points in the entire league?
I wasn't going to throw that out there.
All right, what are you trying to say? Because I have a lot of Browns on my team too. I do. They didn't show up. Myles Garrett got me 15.5 though on defense. Thank you, Myles. Appreciate those sacks, buddy. No, they were stout on defense up front.
They were.
It was good. It was good to see. I like that. I want to see some more pressure. Defensively, I'm okay. Got to keep those penalties down again. But I think that the biggest thing that we need to pay attention to is just being more disciplined. That's where we're at. And I'm predicting a huge win for the Browns, not by a huge margin. All I'm thinking right now is I'll call it 24-10. That's going to be 24-10.
Respectable.
2 teeters for Baker, teeter for Chubb, which helps out my fantasy team. I'm good with that. OBJ gets in there. We're not going to blow anybody out, and we don't need to. What we need to do is play a disciplined game. We need to be stout with our defense. Forget what just happened to us last week. Come back strong, hit the reset button, and give everybody on this team a chance to say, hey, look, we're fine. There's no need to panic. There's no reason to do anything. If I'm not mistaken here, by the way, Kevin, isn't our social media coordinator walking in the door right now?
That might be. We're gonna have to figure out.
Listen. I need to point out here. This is really important. This is not just me running this show this year. We have a staff. We have people. We have toys. We have computers. We have all kinds of stuff going on.
And when are we? Is it every other week the paychecks come, or?
Oh, I'll pay you guys. Yeah, it's what he said. What happened? Is this broke? How does this? I don't even know how this thing works. Yeah. So, are you on? Did you? Oh, I thought we switched over to. Oh, Jessica doesn't want to be on. All right. Well, Jessica is our social media coordinator. She's going to be the one who's going to be running our Twitter feed. Join us on Twitter, by the way. We are on Twitter right now at The Barking Lot. Why are you looking at me?
Because you don't know what.
Because I don't know the name. Just go on Twitter. It's The Barking Lot. Just look for The Barking Lot. We're on there, okay?
When was the last time you tweeted?
Oh, God. It's been since probably last year. I don't know. Why don't we ask the social media coordinator? It's kind of her job to do it, and I'm throwing her under the bus in the first show because we're learning, people. That's what we're doing here. So with that, listen, I'm excited not only about this Brown season, I'm excited about this show. I'm excited about going forward.
You're definitely not the Barking Lot.
It's at the real Barking Lot. I'm sorry, it's at the real Barking Lot because it was something else was taken. I can't remember, man. We'll get it worked out, people. We'll get it all down for you. We'll get the links out, and we're gonna have fun. I want everybody joining us. So we'll get the website information out to you. We'll get a lot more information out to you soon on the next show. And also, in the meantime, make sure you head on over to Browns Football Talk. Hit up the message board. Give everybody a hard time there. And I think we're good. We don't even have any out music, Kevin. We got to work on out music. Can we? I don't even know how to do that. That's all I got.
Keep going. That was great.
All right, no, we're going to go. I'll see everybody later. Kill it.